No, so today we are talking about the Green Boy scandal. So we're just gonna go into it. Um, so obviously this is a sex scandal of the WWF. So it's centered around the um allegations that was about Mel Phillips, the ring announcer. So it is alleged that he had recruited teenage boys for sexual exploitation. This came at the same time, at the time of the turmoil of the WWF. So basically, when they were suspected of illegal steroids, giving illegal steroids to their wrestlers, it resulted in the missiles of Phillips, Terry Garvin, and temporary Pat Patterson in '92. So, in the background of this, so they were known as the WWF, and they were based in Stamford, Connecticut. Um, from its foundation in '53 until 2023, sale to Endeavour, and it was owned and operated by the McMahon family. And in '82, Vince McMahon bought the promotion from his father. Um, so within the stand wrestling industry at the time, WWF would routinely recruit young men as gophers. In particular, they would ask helps at the ring before events. And as I've pulled up on here, Mel Phillips, who was this was alleged against, who appeared on screen as a ring announcer, was tasked with managing the ring crew in 1992. One such ring boy, Tom Cole, went public with the allegations of sexual abuse. This, which was initially broken in the New York Post by Phil Munchnick in 1992. Um, Cole started working for the WWF in '83 at the age of 13. He initially worked at the house shows before being hired for events in New York City and eventually major cities along the Northeast Corridor. Cole was a runaway from a single parent home and alleged that Phillips would encourage him to recruit other boys from broken homes for ring work. According to the drafted legal complaint against WWF, Phillips engaged in fetish play with Cole's feet, such as rubbing them against his genitals, and the other boys had similar experiences. He also alleged that Terry Joel, who who went under the ring name Terry Garvin and was Phillips' supervisor backstage, had sexually harassed him twice. On the first occasion in 1998, Joel was allegedly solicited Cole for a car trip to Massachusetts and offered him alcohol and drugs. After rebutting the advances, Cole was not offered further work for some time. On the second occasion, in 1990, it was alleged that he solicited Cole for sex. After he rejected him again, Phillips rescinded a job offer to Cole, supposedly on the job's orders. In 2020 statement, the attorney for WWE, Jerry McDevitt, confirmed the second incident did not take place, but denied that it was any indicative of the culture of sexual abuse, as Cole was 19 years old at the time, child sexual abuse. Cole also made similar accusations against Pat Patterson, another veteran wrestler and a member of McMahon's inner circle. So we're going to get into the scandal. So for the scandal, in response to Mushnick's story, WWF issued a statement that they would take responsible action regarding legitimate claims filed through lawful channels. On March 2nd, 1992, Joel, Patterson, and Phillips all resigned from their roles in the company. At the same time, Munchnick alleged that McMahon had telephoned him and said that Phillips had been initially dismissed in 1988 because he had a particular an unnatural relationship with ring boys, but had been rehired several months later. Later, if Phillips promised to steer clear from kids, and that Phillips would not have been offered his job back in the light of the scandal. On March the 11th, the San Diego Union Tribune published an article that not only mentioned Cole's allegations but also summarised the ongoing steroid use scandal, allegations by former WWF wrestler Barry Orton and former announcer Murray Hodgkin and Jarrell and Patterson. Their stories also included allegations by another former ring boy, Chris Loss, who alleged the boys were getting propositioned and played with all the time, but the ring boys put up with it because WWF generously paid them. So on March 13th, Cole's attorney, Alan Fusberg, sent a draft copy of a legal complaint to WWF. And 2 days later, Cole and Fusberg met Vince McMahon, his wife Linda, and WWF's Cassell Jerry McDevitt at Fusberg's office in Manhattan. According to Cole, in 1990 interview, he initially offered to settle approximately 750,000, but eventually accusation, I can't say that word, but they ended up settling, meant that would see him rehired by WWF with back pay. So yeah, a day later, Vince McMahon appeared on this guy's show, Phil Donahue show, with Hodgkinson, Orton, former WWF wrestler Bruno Sammartino, Billy Graham, and wrestling journalist Dave Meltzer, who were also appearing on the panel. According to Cole, the McMahons engineered his attendance at the taping so the settlement could be announced, but were unable to do so as host Phil Donahue did not mention him by name. During the show, Sammartino and Graham recalled the incident in the late 70s and early 80s, where a member of the WWF ring crew was caught molesting a boy in the parking lot before a show in Pennsylvania and faced no disciplinary action. Graham also stated that he had witnessed Patterson assaulting a child at a WWF event. He later admitted making this claim in an attempt to extort hush money out of the company. The following weeks issued the Wrestlers Urban newsletter. Meltzer recounted his appearance on the show, including supposed confrontation between Cole and Sammartino and Graham after the taping, and corroborate. So he basically corroborated, I can't say that word either, in other aspects of Mushkin's report of the scandal. Meltzer also stated that the rumours of Joel's and Phillips' activities dated back to at least the mid-80s. So, despite Cole withdrawing his complaints, 1992 continued to be a year of turmoil for WWF. There was scandal break in the run-up to both the debut of McMahon's new WWF on television and WrestleMania. The Department of Justice formally subpoenaed the WWF in regards to the steroid scandal, and on April 3rd, former WWF referee Rita Chatterton appeared on Geraldino Rivera's talk show Now It Can Be Told and alleged that McMahon had raped her in 1986. Later that year, McMahon separately sued Chatterton and Mushnick for defamation, and the lawsuits would end inconclusively. The WWF folded. McMahon was indicted, prosecuted, eventually acquitted of legal supplying steroids to WWF wrestlers over the next 2 years, and the WWF's business would decline in the mid-90s and struggled to replace the most popular star Hulk Hogan, who'd also been implicated in the steroid scandal. Charles and Phillips' careers ended after the scandal, but Patterson was offered his job back after Hodgson retracted his allegations and stayed with the WWE for most of the rest of his life, until his death of cancer in 2020. The FBI investigated Phillips and identified 10 potential victims, but did not press charges as none of them were willing to testify as to the nature of his activities. Cole was fired in 1993 after failing conditions related to his reemployment. In that same year, he filed a lawsuit against WWF, Joel, Patterson, and Phillips. The lawsuit was dismissed a year later. Phillips and WWE would be sued by a third ring boy in 1999. That case was eventually settled a year later. Phillips died in 2012, 2 decades away from public life. Cole died by suicide in 2021 at the age of 50. Linda McMahon served as WWE president and CEO from 1993 until her resignation of the company in 2009 in order to campaign to become US Senator for Connecticut in the 2010 elections. When reached for comments by Politico in 2010, Cole approvingly spoke of her role in the situation and endorsed her campaign. McMahon was unsuccessful in both 2010 and 2012 elections. She was later nominated by Donald Trump, a lifelong friend of the McMahon family, to lead a small business administration, a role she had been between February 2017 and April 2019. During the vetting process, Trump transition team highlighted WWE's alleged culture of sexual abuse, including the ring boy scandal, a possible red flag, but the issue was not raised during her confirmation hearings. Her role in the scandal and pending lawsuits was brought up during the Senate hearings to confirm her Secretary of Education in February 2025, but did not prevent her eventual confirmation. So in 2022, Vince McMahon was eventually ousted as WWE CEO after the board of directors found McMahon had made hush money payments totaling $12 million to several women who alleged sexual misconduct against him. He would temporarily return in 2023 to oversee the company's sale to Endeavour, but was ousted yet again in 2024 after one of the women concerned, Janelle Grant, alleged McMahon had raped and trafficked her. The Ring Boy scandal received renewed attention after the release of the Netflix documentary 2024, Mysteries Mr. McMahon, which covered the 1992 scandal, and the second episode after the series aired. 5 John Does in Maryland, where the Maryland Child Victims Act removed the statute of limitations for historical child sex abuse cases, collectively sued the WWE and the parent company TKO Group Holdings. Both Linda and Vince McMahon were negligence, alleging that Phillips assaulted and groomed them at various points during the 80s, and that McMahon knew and should have known about Phillips' actions, but instead knowingly fostered and allowed the culture of sexual misconduct to permeate the WWE. And in December of 2024, the case was stayed pending a challenge of the law's constitutionality. I can't say that word. In February of 2025, the Supreme Court of Maryland ruled that the law was constitutional, which would allow the lawsuit to proceed. And in April 2025, 3 more does joined the lawsuit, which include new allegations of sexual abuse by Phillips Patterson, as well as allegations of the one occasion Patterson was assisted by the then wrestler Koko B. Ware. In December 2025, the judge proceeding over the case fully dismissed one of the Ring Boys' claims, but allowed 7 of the does to continue their claims against TKO, WWE, Vince McMahon, and 2 of the does to continue their claims against Linda McMahon. So that was the Ring Boy scandal. Obviously, I go into a bit the other scandals of the sexual abuse against Vince McMahon. Obviously, I didn't bring up the fact that Brock Lesnar was also brought into it at some point, but I don't not sure entirely of his whole entire thing, so I haven't really looked into that bit. But yeah, this video is shorter than I thought it would be for this one. I thought it would go into a lot more depth with it, but obviously I didn't with this. Obviously, WWE has had a lot of sexual misconduct allegations against them. I don't think currently that any of the people are still in it. Maybe I'm not entirely sure about Lesnar's role in it. I know he has been back to the WWE, but I do believe most of them have now left who have been involved in any kind of sexual misconduct, which I think is good. But yeah, I'll do another video on some kind of something else or another controversy, depends on what I'm feeling. I just thought I'd do a quick one because I haven't uploaded in a few weeks. So I hope you liked getting the information on this scandal. Might do another one at some point. Depending on how many people actually watch the videos, I might do another one. But by the looks of it, I don't think many people will be watching. A lot of people like the WCW one, because a lot more people clicked on it. I don't have much equipment, so I'm just doing this on a laptop with a headset. But that's got mics, so that's just all I'm doing. This is just a bit of a pastime. I mostly do TikToks, to be honest, on 2 different accounts, which is Grab Talk UK and Grapple Talk Lists is what I've got on TikTok. They're just 2 separate ones because I do have a personal one as well, which I keep private for obvious reasons. But yeah, this is just what I was thinking. I'll just do a quick one, upload it tomorrow. Well, upload it probably today at some point, just to get it out, basically. But yeah, I hope you liked it. But anyway, see ya.